Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Megan if you are new here, and I am a homeschooling mom to 6 kids. So we are a family of 8, and today's video I'm going to be sharing with you all about how I meal plan for a family of 8. So, I know there are so many meal planning videos out there, but I have been asked by friends and then some of you guys if I would share how I meal plan for our family. So there's no right or wrong way. Everybody has to kind of find their method, and I do find that it helps sometimes when you are trying to refine your method to see how others do it as well. So that's why I'm going to share the way that I meal plan for our family. For me, I find it simple. I find it an easy way to see and plan meals for our family, and I don't always do it the same way every time. And what I mean by that is sometimes I might plan for a week, sometimes I might plan for 2 weeks at a time, and sometimes I might go ahead and try to plan for like an entire month. So today, I'm just going to go through maybe a basic 2-week meal plan for our family. If you have seen any of my haul videos, I do make a once-a-month trip to Costco, and then I do fill-in hauls the rest of the month. So there are certain staple items that we keep in our home at all times that I get at Costco and that I get at Trader Joe's. And so basically, if I'm running low on certain items, or if I know I want to incorporate it in a meal plan for the month, I will go ahead and pick that up at Costco or Trader Joe's depending on what it is. So the first thing that I do is I try to make sure that I know what are the main proteins that we already have in our freezer here at home. Now, for me, I don't keep an actual inventory sheet. I feel like I'm pretty organized with things like meal planning, but compared to other people, you might not think that I am, in the sense that I don't keep an inventory sheet and things like that. But that kind of thing I know up here because I'm constantly in and out of our freezers. And before I make my list, and I'll just go and I'll take a quick peek to see what kinds of things I already have frozen in the freezer so I can get a basic idea of what meats that I need to stock up on. Now, we did purchase half a cow just this month. Actually, we purchased half of a cow, and so we won't need beef. We don't really eat a lot of beef. We eat it maybe once a week. And during the winter, we eat it a little bit more, probably sometimes twice a week, but mainly just one time a week. But we did go ahead and purchase half a cow because of the quality and the price that we could get it for. So we did do that this year. So I don't ever have to worry about beef as far as meal planning goes. The chicken, however, I do try to keep extra chicken on hand, especially after this whole crazy pandemic stuff. It was really hard a couple of times because I wasn't able to even stock up for enough meat for an entire week for our family. And so that is one thing that I'm trying to be intentional about now before winter, especially in official 6 season, to make sure that our freezers and everything are in our pantry are well stocked. So that's something that I'm also keeping in mind as I am making my meal plans. And so I don't necessarily want to say, oh, okay, well, I have enough chicken for the next 2 weeks of meals. I'm still going to pick up some more chicken because I don't want to deplete what I already have. But I do want to use what's in there and just restock with the new stuff. Does that make sense? I feel like it does. But that's how my brain kind of works through this. So the first thing I do is I think about proteins. And I think about what other main big things. I will normally keep a rolling chart on the side of the fridge on a dry erase board or up here, which doesn't always work for me, of main items, household items that we need, like if we need to stock up on toilet paper or dishwashing tabs or detergent, things like that, things that are more expensive in your grocery budget. And if that's the case, then I know that for that month, as far as buying meat, I probably need to just stick with main meats. I'm not going to get adventurous and do like shrimp and fish and all that kind of stuff. I'm probably just going to, for our family, stick with main common proteins like ground turkey, which we actually don't do a lot just because of personal preference, chicken, and then beef. And some pork, mainly in the form of sausage, and I like to get that actually from a local farmer if I can, and if not, then there is like a natural brand near us. But and then also turkey bacon or just regular bacon. So that's kind of where my mindset goes as far as beginning the meal planning process. Now, as far as the actual nitty-gritty, I'm going to show you what I use to meal plan. I use a pencil, preferably a pencil, just because, I don't know, I'm just a pencil person when it comes to this, because then I don't like marking through things like if I wrote in pen. And then actually I just use a spiral notebook, and then I do have a binder that has all of my recipes in it, and I will show you what this looks like. So I just have all of my recipes. Guys, these are recipes that were given to me at my wedding shower. And I love them because some of these women, when I organized this, I actually was crying because, you know, I was holding the handwriting of 2 of my grandmothers that are no longer with me. But this is my recipe binder, and I do have it. The only things that are in here are things that I would, yes, actually make, things that, yes, we actually like. So if I'm having a hard time thinking of things to put on the meal plan, I have this binder here that I can flip to, like soups or crock pot meals or main meals, things like that, and be like, oh, okay, well, we haven't had that in a really long time, so I'll make sure to put that in there. So all that to say, let's get started, and I'll show you how I actually go through the meal planning process. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I do this in several parts. And like I said, I don't always do it this way. This is just how my mind thinks. I'm a very visual person, so I like to see it all laid out. So I always start with dinners. So I do go ahead and I say, okay, we are going to have 2 leftovers nights. Okay, so out of the 14 days, 2 of those are going to be leftovers nights. I am going to do a broccoli, sweet potato, chicken, 1-pan dinner, okay? And actually, I have that in a video. I will link it down below if you're interested in some quick and easy meals. That is there. Also, I'm going to put in here spicy shrimp lo mein. That's also in that video. Whoop, I spelled that wrong. So one of the things I try to think about while I'm coming up with my meals is I do like to look at my calendar sometimes just to kind of see what we have scheduled for the amount of time that I am meal planning for. This is where it comes in seasons, where sometimes I will plan long term, sometimes I will plan week by week, so on and so forth. It all depends on what's going on in our schedule. I do like to think of some meals that are quick, some meals that are crock pot meals that don't take a lot of effort from me, and I really, really am loving 1-pan meals like sheet pan dinners and skillet meals and crock pot dinners, things like that. Those have been so great right now in this season that I'm in. Now, there are some meals though that do take more effort, and that's just because that's something I enjoy doing. So something else I like to think about is what do I have in the freezer, or what can I batch cook while I'm doing this? So I wrote down meatloaf there. That's one of the things that I like to double so that I can freeze the extra. Another thing I think of is what 2 meals can I make in a row in order to kind of recycle the leftovers or the meat. Okay, so now that I have my 14 meals, at this point, what I will do is I will just go through my cupboards or through my internal inventory here, and I will think about what ingredients I need for each of these items. So if there is an ingredient that I do not have on hand, then that then goes on my grocery list, which I will put down below. So yes, I literally will go meal by meal and think about, okay, what ingredients do I already have and what ingredients do I need to pick up? And if I need extra chicken or extra vegetables, like if I'm using the same thing in multiple meals, then I put tally marks beside it for how many pounds or how many meals worth I need. So this is specifically the page that I am doing my planning for dinner on. And then the next page I will do breakfast and lunch. And so I will have those two lists there that I go grocery shopping with. Now, sometimes something else that I do is I will go through and with a highlighter, and I will highlight things in pink to get from Costco, things in yellow to get from Trader Joe's, and the stuff that's left over is stuff that I get at the grocery store. So my first stop is always Costco, and then Trader Joe's to get the few staple items that we use there, and then whatever is left on the list is what I pick up from the grocery store. One of the other things that I try to think about when I am doing this list is, as I go through to think about the ingredients, I'll think about the ingredients for each meal, and then I'll think, okay, what am I going to serve with this meal? So I didn't do it just now when y'all were watching, but a lot of times I will put parentheses beside it, and I will write really small what our sides are going to be for that meal. Sometimes I don't write that because I always keep some staple items on hand that I can make really quick to put as a side, and I always buy extra vegetables. Or I always keep canned vegetables on hand, or we actually still have a lot of vegetables actually still coming out of the garden. So salad is something that we do a lot as a side. Broccoli is something we do a lot. Okra lately, asparagus, we love all of those things. Potatoes, sometimes I will do rice, like a wild rice or like a Spanish rice, or fried rice if we are making like an Asian dish or something like that and we want that with that. Another thing that I always keep on hand, especially as a quick side and something that my kids love, is I always keep Annie's mac and cheese on hand. That's another one. Just things like that so that I can just add those. So that is how I do dinners. Now for lunch, we mainly have things like, sometimes I will buy hummus and naan bread. Sometimes I will buy crackers and lunch meat and extra pepperonis and things like that. Sometimes I will make like a chicken salad, or we'll make like an egg salad, or we'll have leftovers if we have an overabundance, things like that. And but for the most part, we actually do sandwiches. I will make provisions for at least 2 days worth of sandwiches with lunch meat. And then the other days, it will either be peanut butter and jelly or some alternate thing. Sometimes they do just like a grilled cheese even. So that is, we're kind of more leisurely with lunch. I like to have a lot of things available for that though. Like I do get, like in my last grocery haul, I got a couple of bags, like big bags from Costco of the Pirate's Booty. The kids like to put that on the side sometimes. Popcorn, lots of things like carrot sticks, celery sticks, and cucumbers. Those are things that I mainly reserve, like the snacking cucumbers. Those are things I mainly reserve for lunches on purpose. So I will gather those things when I go to Costco for that specific purpose. Also things for sides like berries and stuff like that I do for breakfast and lunch. And I usually get like plums and apples and grapes, things like that. Now, one of the things that I try to do is I try to think long term in the sense of produce. So what produce is going to last me a while? Potatoes last a while. Grapes, apples, plums in the fridge will last a little bit. But mainly like grapes and apples, I will buy a lot of those, but I will try to encourage the kids to eat like the produce that goes bad quicker before they eat on the other stuff later in the month. So yeah, so that's just a basic way of how I plan for our family. I do plan most of my grocery budget to be dispensed at the beginning of the month. That's just how I do it because I do that big stock up at Costco. I have been making our bread lately. I have a white bread recipe that I use with just unbleached all-purpose flour, but I also sometimes will grind our own wheat and we will make bread that way if I've got a little bit extra time. And so yeah, so I've kind of been on like a fresh bread kick lately, and I'll go through seasons of that. Otherwise, I will buy multiple loaves of bread when I do fill-in hauls, and I can throw those in the freezer or whatever. So that is, now as you notice, I don't know if you noticed, but also like with the burgers and the sloppy joes that are on our menu, I actually have a super quick bun recipe that I will make a lot of times for that. Like it literally rises for 10 minutes and you just throw it all in a mixer together, let it mix up, let it rise, put it in the oven, and bam, they're done, and they're amazing. So that kind of stuff really cuts down on your grocery budget and also can help eliminate waste as well, because you're only making what you need and when you need it. So I also have a video of how to make homemade tortillas. Now, we don't always do this, but I do it sometimes, especially if I'm like, oh, you know what? I forgot to get tortillas in our grocery haul. That's something else I always get, because sometimes the kids like to eat like roll-ups for lunch instead of sandwiches. So, but if for some reason I don't get them or we run out of them, then I have the option to make them, and they're very easy. So that is a basic look at how I meal plan and what our meal plan is for the next 2 weeks for dinners. So thank you so much for planning with me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you like and subscribe and join me on future videos. Thanks so much, guys.